brow and I sweat my rust.
So there was a young boy who basically decided to want to be a sprinter, and he went out and did sprinting, ran down at the track, did all kinds of stuff. He went hard, had all the genetics, everything. I think it was a 11:47. Kid was only 12 years old. It's a pretty good time. I don't give a damn what you guys think. That is ridiculously good. And he just kept on going, and the coaches kept on pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. But then eventually his ankles started playing up, his knees were playing up, and so were his hips. The problem with that is that this kid has talent. Now, one thing you guys need to understand is that kids or people who have lots and lots and lots of talent are more susceptible to injury than anyone else. If you are very explosive, if you have natural talent, then what you need to do is you need to focus on your strength. People only notice what they're displaying, but like my lawyer used to teach me, the devil is in the detail. If you don't notice that you might be good at certain things but not good at other things, that's not a good thing. Whenever we go through life, we got to always give some form of attention to the grey zones, to the grey areas, to the weaknesses. So, basically this kid, he was a very talented kid, but then the ankles, the knees and the hips started playing up. Strength always comes first. If you're trying to train an athlete, if you are an athlete and you're trying to train to improve and get better and add longevity to your athletic career, you need to focus on building strength. Strength is one of these things that comes first, comes before anything. Nothing comes before strength. The moment you build up strength, you're building up the foundations. You're basically, it's like a security fund. It's like your life savings. It's always going to be there for you. It's always going to support you. No matter what happens, you're always going to fall back on your strength levels. So if you are a very explosive person who potentially is experiencing some form of discomfort around the hip, knee or ankles or maybe even shoulders, you need to build the foundations. A person who has good strength levels is very unlikely to hurt himself during sport. Okay? So if you make that into the focus, then you'll never injure yourself. And at the end of the day, if you build strength but you're still trying to be powerful, that is very doable. You transfer the strength into power. There's a transitional period. The thing is, strength won't make you explosive, but what it will do is it'll increase the engine size. So if you're like a scrawny little twig and you're trying to build yourself up to something a lot bigger and a lot stronger and a lot more explosive, then you focus on your strength. As a side effect, depending on your calorie intake, you might add a bit more muscle to your physique, and then you're increasing the engine size. You're making yourself from a 4-cylinder into a V12. When you get to that point, then you can transition your focus onto the sprinting, onto the jumping, onto the throwing, onto the lateral side movement, whatever it may be, whatever it has to do with your sport, you'll be able to do it. But you need to understand that strength is one of these things that comes first. If you really have no focus, always have strength as a focus. Always make it into your priority list. Fitness comes really, really quick. So if you lose your fitness for a couple of days or a week or 3 weeks, within a week's time, that fitness level will go straight out the roof again. But the strength factor is one of these things that you need to keep working at. You need to keep pushing for. It doesn't come overnight. It takes years and years and years to build it. And if you're new to training, it could take you up to about 3 to 4 years to build up a real good foundation. You need all these tendons, ligaments, muscles, everything needs to adapt. The nervous system, but then eventually it becomes the new you. You really, in a sense, you're reconstructing your DNA. You're creating yourself into something better. So these are the things you need to know, that strength is always #1 priority. So if you have time, work your strength levels. Peace, Jake.
I'm waking up to ash and dust. I wipe my brow and I sweat my rust.